Some of my regulars might just remember me covering the Xbox 360's Kinect a couple of months ago, and I really didn't have a lot of luck with it. But I knew that there were a couple of things that I could do to improve it. I could put the Kinect up onto the shelving above the TV, or I could get one of those Nyko Zoom Lenses, which is meant to make the Kinect work better in smaller rooms. Well, guess who found one just a week after that video went live? So the idea of the zoom lens is it's meant to fit over your existing 360 Kinect, and it's meant to widen the range of the cameras and the sensors so that you can use it a little bit closer to the camera. Now, all of Nyko's advertising blurb says that with this on, you can play 40% closer to the TV and to the camera, so it's really more ideal for smaller living rooms or smaller bedrooms. So I thought, you know, this is going to be absolutely perfect for my gaming room. I can actually find out what the Kinect is like to play with. But how did I find it? Hello fellow gamers, and does the Nyko Zoom Lens actually make the Xbox Kinect usable? So, now we've got this thing, how do we use it? Well, if you have to ask that question, you're probably going to need your parents' help with this. It's really simple. You just clip it over your existing Kinect, making sure that the lenses are in line with the camera lenses. There's one thing they tell you in the instructions though that I didn't know before, is that you've got to make sure that the lenses are flush with the plastic, otherwise the image is going to get warped out of shape. Just make sure that they are flush. So now we've got this thing on, I guess we're just going to have to follow the same steps as we did before and set up this Kinect again. Now, if you remember from the last video, the problem that I had was that I wasn't able to get far enough back. I couldn't even get onto the first row of squares in the initial setup. So let's see how we do this time. Okay, and we're scanning, and... oh, that is much better, look at that! I'm actually appearing in the centre row now. I did need to move the sofa aside a little bit, and it still seems that I can't get far enough back to get onto that rear row of squares. But hey, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. And it's a lot better than it was before. And next we had to configure it for close-up use, a quick wave, and we're done. Brilliant. I think it's time to try a few games. Now, even though the Nyko Zoom Lens has given me a bit more room to work with, I don't know, I still don't think I'll be able to try sports or adventures. I think what I'll do is I'll try the same games as I tried before. That way I've got a basis for a good comparison. So the first game I was going to try out is Kinectimals, now that I think I can actually play it. If you saw my last video, you'll know that I wasn't even able to play this game because I couldn't get far enough back. But this time I was able to position myself squarely in the circle, in the triangle. But hey, we've managed to get a lot further than we did before. So now we're thrown into this open area where we get to choose a tiger cub. So far, I can say that it's picking me up just fine. It was picking me up as I stepped from side to side whilst I swiped the screen and selected different items on the screen as well. Oh, so cute. Oh, and it licked the screen. Oh, bless. We were able to take a picture with it, so I thought I'd just hold up my score bunny, just make sure that it was all working okay. And after a lengthy transition, finally able to try this out properly. So in this large grassy area, we get to spend some one-on-one time with our chosen cub. And, you know, with little difficulty, I was able to teach it new tricks, I was able to play with it by throwing balls or toys, and even drive around a little remote control car. The remote control car mechanics actually were very similar to what I found on Forza Motorsport the last time. The only difficulty I had here was when I was throwing a ball or a toy. But I've got a lousy aim, so it's probably that. I want to summarise basically by saying that yeah, everything seems to work pretty well. And in a bit of a confined space too. So next up we've got Fable The Journey. Now this is the first game that I was able to actually get working the last time without the zoom lens. The only downer on it was that it was constantly trying to tell me to move back, but everything was still working pretty well. This time around you'll notice that it's not telling me to move back anymore, which is always a plus because I don't want to see my chubby physique every time I'm trying to play this game. Though something has to be said for being able to see yourself on screen at the same time, because you can tell a little easier when it's picking up your movements properly. This time around I only had the little gestures or changes on the screen to go by, such as when the head collar rope changes colour when you're telling your horse to turn corners. That made it a little more difficult for me to tell whether I was actually working it properly. But I suppose I'm a beginner at this, so it's just going to take a bit of learning, that's all I guess. And certainly as I was making my way through the game, I was finding it easier to control my horse. Especially at this high-paced bit where you're trying to avoid all of the evil magic that's being yeeted at you. And when it came to any segments where you're using magic, it was picking up my gestures really accurately. It's fair to say that if I had a couple of evenings free, I should be able to sit down and really enjoy this game. Last up we've got Forza Motorsport 4 again. Now the last time I tried this it actually worked pretty well. It dropped out for me a few times because I was pretty close to the camera, but overall it was working really well. With the Nyko Zoom Lens on, I found that it didn't drop out anywhere near as often as it used to. I think it dropped out maybe twice throughout all the time I spent trying the game out. Now I'm not going to say that the steering was any more accurate or I was able to play any better, but certainly having the zoom lens on the Kinect meant I was able to play a little more comfortably. Now just to show that I'm not cheating at this, here's footage of me playing the game using the Kinect. If only this blasted Shen would get out of my way. And in the last video I joked about using the Wii steering wheel in order to play this game, so I thought I'd give it a go. And yeah, it doesn't work so well. So, to summarise, I think it's worth picking up a Nyko Zoom Lens if you can find one. It's actually made quite a bit of difference in my gaming room. But you've got to be careful where you get it from, because at the moment Amazon are selling them second hand for about 20 quid. And I'm not sure it's worth that. Your best bet would be to have a look at second hand gaming shops in your area, because you're likely to find it for about a £5 instead. Now I know many of you are really busy with Christmas at the moment, so I really do appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Let me know what you thought of it down below with a like or dislike, or even leave a comment if you've had any experience with the Nyko Zoom Lens already. Or even consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss my future videos. Anyway, I'll let you get back to your Christmas shopping. Thanks so much for watching and I'll catch you all next time.